Well, good morning, although it's almost afternoon where I am, 11:55 a.m. On Saturday morning, but this is the video for Sunday, the 13th of April. I had a really busy morning working out in the yard, and I came back into the computer at exactly 11:11. And I started looking at some of my emails, and one of the emails sparked an interest in a video. And so instead of doing a video that I was planning on doing, which was explaining how you can help, people were wanting to know, how can we help? How can we help? I'll do that maybe for the next video, but the one for today I'm titling, Are We Pawns in a Spiritual Con Game? One of my YouTube subscribers commented on my video, Titles Bestow Responsibilities, Not Authority. He wrote, I agree with what you said. I have come to the realization that the vision you speak of, which is the same vision I have, will not come to reality until the cabal are taken out. This is out of control and so messed up, and too energy draining. I feel used, that the indigos might be on a fool's errand, like I am some sort of a pawn in the spiritual con game. End quote. I will read more of his letter, assuming this is a man, because the sentiments expressed, I feel, are ones that many people can relate to in regard to our current situation. It's hard to live in peaceful coexistence with psychopaths that are hell-bent on destroying everything decent in the world. The subscriber asked, quote, Is there a way that the cabal can be taken out without violence or bloodshed? End quote. That's a really good question. In addition to what I just read you as the blurb, he said, taken out does not necessarily mean killed, but taken out in some form or fashion. As long as the cabal is in power, they will thwart any peaceful effort to make our visions manifest into reality. So I ask you, is there a way, and that's the question, is there a way that the cabal can be taken out without violence or bloodshed? So far, I have not come up with a possibility. The deck is so rigged and stacked against us. I know about the golden rule and the law of attraction, and what I just said does not go well with those things. I have worked on these things so long, and I am tired and exhausted. I just don't care anymore. So much time has gone by, and the longer time goes by, to me, it's just that much harder and harder for our visions to manifest. So I have reached the point that what is happening to the rancher in Nevada sparks some kind of war, civil or revolutionary. I don't feel like our voices are being heard, physically and spiritually. It did not have to come to this point, but it has, because no one heard me. This is out of control and so messed up and too energy draining. I feel used, that the indigos might be on a fool's errand, like I am some sort of a pawn in a spiritual con game. Yeah, I hear you, my friend. And he made reference to indigos, and he might be someone that communicated with me the past who says he or she, and I'm thinking it's a he, but I'm not positive, is an indigo. And I related to somebody a few weeks ago that indicated that they were an indigo, and I said I was in the early wave of indigos. Now, for those of you that don't know, indigos are people, as I see it, that come here with special gifts and on a mission. I don't know what necessarily my special gift is other than maybe communication. But I have always felt like I was on a mission since I was a kid. I mean, before I was even 10 years old, I had the sense that I was on a mission. I can remember things that happened way back then. In any case, indigos are people that have a sense of mission, and that's how I'm using the term, and that's how I'm referring to it here. I think there's a whole bunch of people on the planet right now that are indigos or crystal children or just people that are aware that there has to be something better, that there has to be something more than what we've experienced in this world. This world is truly, truly one messed up place. And anybody that thinks that everything is in divine order must have their head up their butt or in the sand. How can all the violence and bloodshed and injustice and governments that are totally out of control, totally criminal, courts that are unlawful, and they're supposed to be the bastion of justice? I mean, so many things are happening in our world that are absolutely insane. Why? Because the people that are in charge of running the world are psychopathic, are sociopathic, are insane, literally insane. Now, why are they the rulers? If the people were sane, wouldn't they have sane rulers? Well, that's the other part of the issue. The people aren't very sane either, because we've been programmed to be insane. Now you say, Ron, then you're saying that humans are victims. Yes, I'm saying humans are victims. Humans have been victims for as long as we can possibly even think of humans being on this planet. Humans have been victims of circumstances that they have no control whatsoever over. Now you say, Ron, then you don't believe that we create our own reality. You're absolutely right. I don't believe we create our own reality. That's more New Age bullshit. We did not create the reality of the world that we live in, except by ignorance, except by denial, except by avoidance, except by all the things that our modern New Age spirituality teaches us are spiritual principles. It's part of the spiritual con game of going along with just whatever is must be God's will because it's happening. This is what we're experiencing. It must be God's will. That's nonsense. What kind of a God would will violence? What kind of a God would will injustice? What kind of a God would will people to be ignorant and not come into possession of their own gifts and their own talents and their own abilities and their own being? What kind of a God would keep his creation or her creation in ignorance and dominated and enslaved by insanity? And it is insanity. So I can understand the frustration of this individual who feels like he might be a pawn or she might be a pawn in a spiritual con game. I have felt that way myself. And I don't believe any honest person on this planet could possibly not relate to that feeling. That what's the use? These people are so powerful. I talked to my friend, my minister friend that lives locally from Germany. She's originally from Germany. She was born when the bombs were going off in Berlin. Okay, and then she grew up in Sweden. She'll know who I'm talking about if she listens to this video. But she says, Ron, it's not going to happen in your lifetime. They're too powerful. They are too entrenched in the world. I hear you. I hear you. I hear those of you that believe that. I have felt for a long time, since I realized how insane the governments were and how criminally oriented they were, I have realized that we're up against tremendous odds because these are people that control the financial system. These are people that control the media. These are people that control the institutions in our world. These are people that control the healthcare system. These are people that control the food production. These are people that control water. These are people that control the resources of the world. And these are people that are hell-bent on dominating the world and controlling everything and everybody for their own sick reasons, their own absolutely crazy, insane goals of dominating the entire world and controlling it for themselves. I mean, I don't care if you want to call these archons, demons, devils, psychopaths, sociopaths. They can't, to me, it's almost like they cannot be human. But yet humans have been degraded. Humans have been programmed to be less than what we were created to be. And I've been part of an awakening, and I see lots of people waking up, but I see lots of things that cause frustration. He mentioned what's going on in Nevada. Now here, one of our senators is trying to make money and trying to get this rancher off his land that is a few generations in his family, trying to take his land away from him. Senator Harry Reid. Okay? He's the one I read that's behind it. Now, if that's true, I don't know. I just read that he's behind it. There's another senator that is trying to cause or get the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, out of the whole situation. And the governor of Nevada has called for a peaceful solution. Get the feds out of here. But the government is out of control. We're talking about criminally insane people that hold positions of high office in the United States government and around the world. This is also true. It's true in Indonesia. It's true in South Africa. Why do I name those? Because the delegates that were in Indonesia were deported by the government of Indonesia back to South Africa. Now, I don't know what the outcome of that's going to be, but the same people that I was communicating with earlier in the week are now back home in South Africa because their visa, their request to extend their visa to 3 months was denied. Now, they were peacefully sent out of the country. Their visa simply wasn't renewed. But this is insane. The people that are trying to do things that are good for the world have to go up against so many obstacles in the current system. What's it going to take? Now, I said to Aristo the other day, and I think I said to somebody else that I was talking to, that I've come to the place that I don't believe that we can. Swiss Indo's initial goal was to peacefully coexist for a time and give people the opportunity to choose which form of governance they wanted. The criminal form of the current system, or the form where people are blessed and enriched and empowered. Which form would people choose? Well, obviously, if this Swiss Indo vision, this peace on earth vision, ever came into manifestation, people would see the difference, wouldn't we? Wouldn't people see, oh my God, look at this over here and look at this over here. And it would be a no-brainer to choose peace on earth. But they don't want even the beginning steps of that program to be able to be implemented, because then they lose. As soon as the collateral accounts are released and the funds are released to the people across the board, as soon as common law becomes the law of the land all over the planet, as soon as free energy systems become manifested and the ability to manufacture them en masse becomes a reality, as soon as the healing technologies that can heal cancer and heart disease and all of the other autoimmune diseases and all the other illnesses that are caused by our water supply, that are caused by our poor food system, that are caused by our medicines that are supposed to heal, and they don't, they make us more sick. As soon as all of these things were funded and released, as soon as the military was put on a peace mission instead of a war mission, as soon as the law enforcement agencies would be repurposed to serve humanity and obey the their oaths of office in the United States to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and the oath that we in Swiss Indo took to stand up for the rights of the people, to all the people of the earth, not just a segment, not just a little piece, but all of them. Now, wouldn't if we could start implementing this, wouldn't it be a no-brainer to choose that system? But the people that have been in power, keep resisting the good. And who's on our side? Who's on our side? Now, I know what Aristo says. I know what others says. It's a process. I've said it myself over and over again. But it's a process that's a dead-end street unless something breaks the back of the cabal and changes the current leadership. We cannot even begin to accomplish any of the grand visions that we have for a peaceful world, that we have for a fair world, a world that works for everybody. We cannot even begin to accomplish that as long as these criminals are allowed to remain in power. And like the writer of the letter says, I don't mean kill them, but they must be arrested, curtailed, restrained. They must be brought to check so that they cannot keep their insanity and their criminal aspects going in our world. They need to be stopped. And I don't know what it's going to take. As the writer to this letter says, I've not come up with any possibilities. The only possibility that I can come up with is ET intervention. Stop their weapons. Nullify them. Cancel them out. Nullify all of their poisons. Cancel them out. Use the higher technologies, and including the technologies of communication, because sooner or later, if they get their way, they're going to be able to stop all of our communication. When they do that, where can we go? We need a power that's at least equal to or greater than the power of the cabal, because they must be stopped. They must be stopped. These men and women that sit in the pinnacles of power are criminally insane, and they must be stopped. And we must. What can you do to help? Become aware. Speak out. Tell the truth. Inform your neighbors. And become educated and informed yourself as to the nature of our world. It is a criminally insane world. Now you say, Ron, if you focus on that, it's going to expand. Isn't that what the law of attraction says? The law of attraction is bullshit. Now, did you hear me? I said it's bullshit. That law of attraction, the way it's taught in New Age circles, is totally part of the spiritual con game. It's totally part of the spiritual con game. Because what we focus on is where we shine our light. And then we can bring the changes that are necessary. If we turn away from it and deny it and skirt around it, we will never correct the problems that we face. We will never address the world in the manner that it needs to be addressed in order to make it a world that works for everybody under the golden rule. No wonder this person is frustrated. I'm frustrated too. Can you tell? There's frustration all over the planet going on because these criminals continue to get away with their criminality. And who is on our side? Who will stand with us in the gap to stop the insanity, to stop the nonsense, and to change the world? At least allow the beginning steps to be taken to change the world in a positive direction. What can you do to help? Become aware. Inform yourself and inform those around you what's going on. Tell the truth and spend some time inside getting to know the higher self that you are, and getting to know your talents, your gifts and abilities, and use them to help change the world for good. We have the power within us, but it's an uphill battle, and it is a battle. It is not something that is done in a place of bliss and in a comfort zone. It's not done from your couch potato position. It's done from taking action and speaking out and standing up for truth, for justice. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for listening. Namaste.